for about 3 years, if my math is right. I'm here tonight because I care deeply about the place we call home. And I'm here for the people who want to live their best lives for generations to come. Life is too often cut short when addiction, like the scourge of tobacco and nicotine, take its toll on our families. I know it's taken many years off the lives of my loved ones, destroying the continuity that should have been there between generations. Not only have I seen how smoking and the use of other tobacco products affects families, I have no memories of my own grandmother, and my daughter has no memories of my dad. Both my grandmother and my dad died at 15. I've also watched loved ones struggle to quit, not to mention my own cousin, Ivan, who smoked heavily and died at 35 from osteosarcoma. So every day I still witness how easy it is for people to be influenced by tobacco normalization in the media and ads near schools and corner stores where nary a piece of fresh fruit can be found. Indeed, retailers know that packaged tobacco can stay on the shelves for years. Who cares if it's expired? It's poison anyway. I don't care if it's still legal in some cases. No responsible community members can justify selling these carcinogens to their neighbors. So it's hard to watch because we all want our children to grow up healthy and free from addiction. I want my future grandchildren to not have the temptation of this readily available product presented as if it's okay when it kills when used as intended. That's why smoke-free environments and tobacco retail licenses matter. They're not just policies, they're steps toward protecting our families, creating cleaner air, and building neighborhoods where health comes first. So thank you all for showing up tonight. By being here, you're helping shape a future where everyone in our community can breathe easier, live healthier, and feel proud of the place we call home. Thanks.
None. Thank you, Alex. Joseph, come forward for closing comments. And then when he is done, we're going to shut the feed down.
I don't have any questions for Alex, but I was going to point out that one thing I've done when I've spoken in public is after I type it out, I go to AI and I plug it in and I say, how long will it take you to say this? And if you don't know if you're going to be speaking for 1 minute or 3 minutes, obviously put the important stuff first. You can always rehash it. You have to speak for longer, or you can speak for longer. I also wanted to point out is that sometimes it's lost. Tobacco-related illness is the most preventable cause of death. If that's not enough of a reason to stay up at night and worry about this, I don't know what is. I also want to point out that I'm usually careful to distinguish between commercial tobacco and sacred traditional tobacco that was used by Native American populations, indigenous populations here in the United States. The commercial tobacco industry has nothing to do with the kind of tobacco that was used traditionally here in North America. It's a completely different product, and so that distinction is important to point out. And also that the enemy is the tobacco industry, not the people who smoke. And I don't say smokers anymore, I say people who smoke. I think that's more appropriate. And last thing, we talked a lot about middle schools and high schools. I honestly think that elementary school is not too early to start talking about how it's bad for your health. And kids don't necessarily want to talk about it bad when they're in elementary school, but you can always say that it's better for one's health if you just completely avoid these addictive substances. And then lastly, most importantly, I would say, please be encouraged to go to Fairfield and Sassoon and speak in person if possible. I know this is usually on school night, so you have the Zoom option, but it is more effective. I would love for these city council members to see the youth, really standing up and seeing their future voters. Caitlin has a question.
I have a quick question. For me, the ones who don't know the MD program, we state because they have a lot of commercials on right now. I haven't seen the Paul Park. Could you just talk a little bit about the correlation between the MD program and their relationship to our work?
If you're talking about what I was telling my friend Michelle here, it's that youth who become engaged in basically any social activism have far better mental health throughout the rest of their lives. Is that what you're referring to, or is something else?
Somewhat, but the Tracy
Okay. Caleb wants to speak tonight. That's fine.
So just for a second, so many of you, if you watch sports or popular television shows, you will see the Undue California commercials, and you'll always know they're undue commercials because they're about tobacco prevention, or they're about restoratively rejecting tobacco. And what I mean by that is looking at the adverse impacts of tobacco over time in California and saying we want to undo that by this messaging, by specifically speaking to populations that have historically been targeted with predatory marketing. So if you see those commercials, we're in collaboration with the Undo program. So go ahead and feel free to find out more information about those, because I know that they're publicly highlighted, particularly during sports shows and TV programs.
One last thing. So also one of the advantages of doing this activism for the past several years is that I get to learn more about these ordinances, and in my spare time, I volunteer for the Humane Society of the North Bay, and I happen to remember Tracy Nishan told me that these outdoor smoking policies refer also to city-owned properties. Well, when I found out that the Humane Society is on City of Vallejo property, and that every time I would drive in, I would have to roll up my windows. I wouldn't have to smell the smoking section. I raised it up to the board and I said, this is not allowed. And I pointed to the ordinance, and I'm very happy to say that now the Humane Society is a smoke-free campus. And yeah, I'm very glad to know that. So, anyway, that's my last anecdote.
Eric?
I got it.